Hello, I'm Julie Humphreys from Origin Housing and welcome to part 2 of our executive podcast. This part of the podcast covers your questions that were sent in from our survey to the executive team. In this section, we're going to cover slightly more general topics from communications and repairs. Thank you for sending in your questions. We've had over 200 come in from our survey, and so we'll be answering as many of them as we can. If you've left your name and contact details, we will get back to you individually, and we'll be posting this on our website and through social media. So I'll hand over to the executive team. If you could introduce yourselves and a quick overview of your area.
Thanks, Julie. I'll start. So I'm Carol Carter and I'm Chief Executive.
I'm Gareth Jones. I'm Director of Development. I also cover sales and plant maintenance.
I'm Gloria and I'm the Finance Director.
I'm Carol Williams and I'm the Operations Director, and that covers all things to do with repairs, housing management, care and support and compliance.
I'm Cornelius McGrath and I'm our Interim Director of Business Change.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. So I will kick off with some questions for you then. We'll start with a question on communication. Why do you never get back to us?
So if I start with that, and I think it is one of the things we hear about us not communicating back to our residents quickly or not answering inquiries that they've had. And for that, we are always really sorry, because we do aim and want to ensure that we do respond to everybody that contacts us. We have messages that come through to us, whether it's through our email systems, whether it's through the telephones, just talking to some of our staff on the estates. And our drive is to ensure that we respond to every single query we pick up. Sometimes we do get it wrong and we hold our hands up to that, but we are striving to continually improve that. We have had a number of changes within some of our frontline staff over the last few months, and it's one of the key areas that we include as part of our induction programme for all our staff around our values and principles about communicating back to our residents and making sure that we keep them informed of what we're doing. We've also recently been able to improve this through the use of what's called group comms, so that we can send out en masse to people in blocks, for example, about what we're doing, maybe with a repair to a broken door, or if a lift's not working and that type of thing. So we're always improving it, always wanting to get better, and want to hear from people where we haven't managed to hit that service level for them through our complaints process, or just through contacting us via whatever means channel suits the tenant, whether that's emails or telephoning us. And we are also working with our residents more formally now through our new engagement strategy. And I think probably communication will be one of those areas that we will be looking to do a full review of, involving our residents sometime during this year maybe, but depending on when this lockdown ends and when we can put that into our programme.
Thanks, Carol. I just wanted to add that improving communications with residents and residents feeling that we're listening to them and we're acting on the feedback they give us and the issues that they raise with us is really, really important for us at Origin, and for the senior team. It's a huge driver for the changes that we're making. So we're doing a lot of work to make sure that we recruit and we retain the right people with the right skills, that we operate according to values which ensure that we put residents at the heart of what we do, and that residents' priorities drive everything that we do. And we've done a lot of work over the last year in particular to make that happen. It's not something that changes overnight, but I am seeing green shoots, and I'm seeing improvements in terms of the way that residents feel about the way that we communicate with them. The work we're doing around technology is also part of that, because we want to make sure that it's easier for our staff to answer our residents' questions, that they have easy access to the information they need that will help them to resolve issues. And I think for me, the resident engagement strategy is really important, the launch of that, and we launched that earlier in the year. We had an open house event before the lockdown. We had good attendance from residents at that, and that was really the start of making it very clear that, you know, what we want to achieve is a new relationship with residents, which is much more about a partnership, about a dialogue, about an equal relationship where we are able to discuss together the issues the residents are facing and how we resolve those. So improving communications and improving the services that our residents receive is absolutely at the forefront of everything we've been working on over the last couple of years, and we will continue to have that focus. Does anybody else want to come in on that?
I think I just want to say we obviously, you know, as a team committed to do different ways, try different ways, and hopefully you'll find today's podcast is a good beginning as well. We recently had a very successful open day. It's great to see many residents coming up and share their feedback with us. So we are always doing different things. Yeah.
Okay, great. My next question was about why did you never get back to me about my complaint, but I think we may have covered that in the previous question, unless anyone wants to add anything about our complaints process.
Probably wouldn't at this point, but I was going to pick a bit of complaints up to talk about our new repairs service.
Okay, great.
Just talking about what lessons learned, that type of thing.
Great. Okay, so the next question, which you've moved on to very well there, Carol, is why are you slow at doing repairs?
So our repairs service has been running now for a number of years, and reviewing some of the complaints that we get from our residents around the repair service and some of the changes that maybe have happened over the last few years, we've took a decision during 2019 to really have a step back from the service and work with our contractor Gil Martins to see how we could improve that for over the next couple of years. So in working with our residents and working with our contractor, the key thing that came out, which is obviously linked back to some of the previous questions, which is around communication, was around how could we improve the service so that the customer was more aware of what the repair was going to be done, when it was going to be done, how long it was going to take to be done, etc. So our new service has launched at the beginning of April. Now, running in this time, it means that the service really hasn't been able to get off the ground the way we would have liked to. But the sort of the ethos of that is that when you report a repair to us now, we're going to take much more care in analysing what is actually required. So we'll be asking more questions about what the problem is, and at that very early stage trying to give you an indication as to how long the repair might take to be done and what we'd be planning to do while we're doing that repair on that day. The other change is that you would be given an appointment within 10 working days of you contacting us, whether that's by phone or whether that's through our digital channels. So if you can't make an appointment within the 10 days, then the appointment will be made to suit yourself, and that could be longer depending on your own circumstances. So we're blending the service to meet the needs of the individuals a bit more. Then what we're also going to do is we're going to ensure that the day before your appointment that you're contacted, just to make sure that the appointment still suits the time that the operative is due to call. And then on the day, the operative will keep in touch with you to ensure that you know whether or not they're on time, they may be running a bit late, they might be getting parts, so So the whole thing around communication has been a big theme of us looking to improve our service and to ensure that we move this on, having listened to the complaints that we've been getting from our tenants. Linked to that, we've also decided to take back complaints from our contractor. So if in the past you've made a complaint regarding the repair service, that has gone to the contractor to resolve for you. We've, as from the beginning of April, have now taken that back to ourselves, and we are going to be following up all your complaints directly as through our resident liaison officers in Origin. And what we're hoping from that is that we will then have more insight into some concerns that people have with repairs, so that we can make changes more quickly for people in the future.
Okay, brilliant. And then just finally, we had a few people asking, are you okay in taking minimal risks?
So I thought that was really kind of people to ask. So our top priorities are to sustain essential services to our residents and protect our staff. So we're doing a lot in this period to make sure that our staff's well-being is looked after. So there's a lot of activity around that. That there's improved connectivity, so that managers are connecting in with their staff and their teams every day to check on their well-being, to agree current priorities, and to resolve any issues that they have in continuing to sustain services. So we've been really, really focused on making sure that we look after our staff, that their health and safety is protected, and that in turn they're in the best position to provide the services that our residents need. So just like to thank everybody who asked that question, but we're in good spirits and we're doing well. Thank you.
Okay, brilliant. Well, I'd like to thank you all as an executive team for taking the time out to answer the questions. And thank you to anyone that listens. If you'd like to get in contact with us about anything that's been discussed today in our Q&A, please call the number on the screen, email enquiries@originhousing.org.uk, or use our contact form on our website in the Contact Us section.